fun stuff. Not necessarily the game itself, of course, but the hope, right? That little hope last week. Wasn't that fun? All right. Welcome to GreenBean's Jets Pod, episode 143. I don't even know anymore. 143. Guys, I am GreenBean, and it's nice to have you here. It was nice to have everybody in the game stream. It's a tough one, man. This week's game against the Miami Dolphins was everything that you don't want to see. And look, our chances of making the playoffs were slim, right? Slim and none, and Slim left town. You know that old gag? Well, we knew that, but we want to have a little fun. Maybe split with the Dolphins, get them back for the baloney, the Hail Mary, and all, right? We want a little bit of help. Can we have a little help? We have the idea of seeing Aaron Rodgers Christmas Eve, right? We had some hope. Would have been if, look, we don't make the playoffs. Can we wrap this one up fun? We have some fun. We just have a little fun. It's been a painful season. From losing Aaron Rodgers on the fourth play, to the 3-game losing streak, to the hope of being 4-3, to the 5-game losing streak, or 4-game losing streak, to the hope of the Texans, to the blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's like, can we just have a little fun on the way out? Maybe see some Aaron Rodgers, get some hope for next year. And the Jets were supposed to go down to Miami, everybody. This is what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to go down to Miami and show up. That's what we were supposed to do. We were supposed to play hard. We were supposed to compete. They were missing quite a few players. They had their center out for the year. Jalen Phillips is out. We love the cornerbacks. Tyreek Hill, right? So all these starters were out for them. And we had an opportunity. We're surging. But the underlying piece is this. Zach Wilson-led New York Jets haven't had 2 consecutive games that were good. Sure, we've won games consecutively. As far as our offense, it just hasn't happened. And then you could say Robert Saleh hasn't had that. His defense played really well, so it's tough to put it on that. Now, this game, they're done. So, but this Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, Zach Wilson experiment that we have going on is looking less and less like a capable union. Can we say it that way? And the stream this week, look, I commend you guys, honestly, for sticking around. We still had 500 people in the fourth quarter, 550. It was crazy. I can't believe that we still hang out and watch, right? It's like staring at a car fire, It's like you can't look away. But it's painful. Guys, the Jets are now officially, we have our 8th consecutive losing season. No matter what happens from here on out, it will not be a winning season, right? That's good. Take that off the table, that whole idea. That's gone. So we are now 8 straight years without even a winner. 9-8. We couldn't get to that. Or back in the day, 9-7. We couldn't even do that. We can't do it. We haven't been 500 either. So, you can't be 500 anymore. But even then, we didn't get to 8-8. So this is a bad stretch. And let me tell you, too, we've seen bad things. We've seen embarrassing losses and all that. Going into the half with 5 yards against the Dolphins, it's especially with everything on the line that we had, this might have been the worst game I've ever seen the Jets play, and I'm not kidding. Now, of course, recency bias, we know. There were games back in 1996 or back when the Colts were in our division. I remember sitting in that stadium losing 6-3. I remember that stuff, but still, I still can't find it in myself to remember something that was this completely inept. There was still moving of the ball. We did nothing this week. Nothing. Now, I get into it every week. Whose fault is it? At this point, it's dumb for me. I'm not saying you are dumb. It's dumb for me to just keep this whole Zach Wilson offensive line thing going. You kind of know where I stand at this point. The idea that Trevor Siemian, who sucks, by the way, he's just, he's done. He's a low tier, bottom tier, right? NFL quarterback. He can play, but he's bottom tier. He looked like twice the quarterback. That's Zach. Pressure still the same. So I don't know. The offensive line today was abysmal. Mekhi Becton, look, we supported him. He's staying healthy. It's great. He is getting toasted. The mosted. I think he has the most sacks in the season. I think he's up to 11 or 12 sacks. Most sacks given up by any tackle. Many linemen is Mekhi Becton. It's not good, buddy. And on a contract year, no less. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is your final year. You would expect otherwise. Now, who knows why that is? I don't know. But it's hard to find positives, right, guys? So the box score will tell you some things, but there's a lot more to it than that. As always, I thought that the game looked uninspired. The game plan, once again, run, pass, offense. It's just and then when they try to change it up, Hackett will do these bootlegs where they fake the run to the left, everybody, and you leave Zach Wilson naked on the outside. That has not worked once this year. We've seen it a dozen times, whether it's to the left or to the right. Every time Zach turns around, there's somebody waiting for him there. What does that tell you? It hasn't fooled anybody. What that tells you is our offense is predictable. They know it's either going to be that. We'll follow that, but always keep a guy because they do this. They know. They see it. We had no answers. And it's really, I know that the Aaron Rodgers, Hackett thing, I know, and they're most likely going to run it back with everybody. And I'm not against it. It's like last week, it was like, oh, see, we're not that far away. Now it's like, oh, well, where's it going to fire everybody? I'm not there. I don't do that so much. The ups and downs, I'm kind of in the middle. I think that this is looking grim for these guys. But again, it was all predicated on having a Hall of Fame level quarterback. Now people say, oh, he couldn't change this. I disagree. Now, would we be a Super Bowl team? I don't think so with this line and these receivers. But we've seen Trevor Siemian come in and look better. In the face of pressure. Guy rushing him, throw it to the guy right there. He's 2 picks and a fumble. Believe me, I'm not singing anybody's praises. But you could see the difference, right? So I think if Aaron Rodgers was in there, he's a Hall of Fame level quarterback. He throws 5 picks a year to 35 touchdowns or whatever the hell he does. You know what I mean? 29 touchdowns. That's what he does. That guy is definitely going to change everything. So they're going to run it back with these guys. And I think they should. He's under contract. These guys are all under contract. Just the whole kit and caboodle. Just lump them in together. The whole group. You're all one package deal. And if you suck, you're out. And if you don't, great. This is the bed you made. Let them sleep in it. That's what I'm saying. The whole night. Not wake them up at 3 a.m. and kick them out of your house. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see it. But with that all said, it's very little to defend. And the idea of bringing Hackett back, Keith Carter, what has Keith Carter done, the offensive line coach? What? The running game sucks. The offensive line sucks. And I will say this. I'm all about zone blocking. I think outside zone should be utilized a touch more than we do. But it's fine. But if the line can't do it, like a lot of what we see, the guys are definitely getting beat straight up, right? We see that. But there's also a lot of miscommunications and stuff like that. They're not picking up the right guys and those types of things. That's happening. I understand sticking to your system. I get it. But And maybe the guys we have are just too dumb to figure it out. I mean, I don't know. But either way, it is the coach's responsibility. First the offensive coach, then the offensive coordinator, then the head coach. Somebody has to step in and say, this isn't working. These guys, not with these guys. And it's time to go to a man up. You know, it's a man blocking scheme, dude. You just block the guy in front of you. You just own your space. That's it. Somebody moves out of it, it's his. He comes in, that's it. You can pass him off, all those things, but just straight up blocking. Simplify it. Maybe that'll work. I don't know, because it's not working. Something's got to change. It's like we stick to it. You know, I got to tell you. Player stats. Zach Wilson, the most important guy we'll talk about quickly. 4 for 11, 26 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 picks. Now, to be straight up, Zach Wilson was pressured 8 out of those 11 times. I think it was 8. I mean, there's not much he can do. The guy was getting crushed today. And with the problem with that happening to a guy like Zach Wilson, where he is with his fragility and all this stuff, is that he goes into him. He becomes a shell. We've seen it, right? But again, there were numerous opportunities that he just couldn't take advantage of. And I'm a big fan of, when your offensive line can't give you time, 2.5 seconds, internal clock, zip it to the sideline, man. That's it. Throw it. Live to play another down. That's it. And if you can't do that, there's a problem. And we see that problem. But the offensive line, this is probably the worst I've seen them in 3 years. The Sam Darnold offensive lines were, this is what it looked like, remember? But I think this might be, it's arguably the worst game we've played. Trevor Siemian, a little bit better. 14 of 26, 110 yards. No touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The last one I'll give him was just kind of a toss-up punt kind of a thing. Gibson gave up on the route. I don't know why, but not a great pass. Trevor Siemian, again, we had some life at least. We got a little bit of fun, something to root for the later portions of the game, but, he didn't do much for us either. Breece Hall, 6 carries for 12 yards, flat 2.0 average, right? Izzy, we got to see some Izzy. He had 4 runs, 8 yards, another 2.0 yard average. Dalvin Cook had 1 run for 4 yards. That doubles their average, giving him 4 yards per carry. Wonderful. Ashton Davis had a carry. Remember that? Very ill-advised. I'm all about aggression. I am. I love aggressive coaches. Show some balls, man. Right? I'm a big fan of that. 4th and 4 yards. And you're going to do that? The one where you direct snap? I don't know. That might have been a pass one. The thing is, we've done it before, that exact play, and it worked. But that's the thing. They're keyed in on that. They know the Jets are punt fakers. They know it. Trying to spark the offense. So it's, you know what I mean? Like, you go back to the well too many times. People are ready for it. So I think it was a silly move at a silly time. Because look, at that point, we were okay. We weren't playing well, but we were okay. And then, we had the Zach fumble, gave the defense, they had to defend from the 2-yard line or whatever it was. They held them 2 plays. They got beat on the 3rd one. And, it's going to happen. So there's the first 7 points. Then you do the fake punt. You don't get it, and it's their ball in our territory, and it's just, you know what I mean? It's a momentum thing, and it's bad, and I get it, man. I didn't like it. I get it, but I didn't like that. I thought the timing was off. You're going to have plenty of opportunities to fake punt today. You can clearly see it. We were going to have 1 million opportunities to fake punt. You didn't need to punt. You didn't need to do it on that one. You know what I'm saying? So that's my point. Who's our wide receiver that did the best today? Garrett Wilson again, but he only had 30 yards, 29 yards actually. He had 3 receptions, all from Trevor Siemian. Zach couldn't find Garrett Wilson today. Xavier Gibson had 2 for 29. I mean, Lazard also, he got some 3 receptions, had his drop. You know, he can't do that. He can't have a game without a drop. He had one of those. But Lazard looked okay. You know, Trevor Siemian doesn't know any better. He threw it to Lazard. He found him. Ruckert, you know, we had Tyler Conklin with 4 receptions. He had 18 yards. But, you know, Conklin's playing well. The defense, man, I don't know. I just think you can't. I mean, with this team, the way that it is, it's really hard to blame the defense. They gave up that big touchdown to Waddle. But I'm gonna say this. I don't know why we don't put Sauce on there. They had one guy today. Really. They have other players. As far as wide receiver core, and I love DJ Reed and all that jazz, but Sauce is the guy. And why don't you man up on him? Why don't you man up? Stuff him. Give your defensive line a second to get there. Instead of just letting this guy take off. He's fast as can be. Elusive. You know? I don't know. But again, I can't blame the defense. You know, you can, as you shift and you wonder and you try to find reasons. Yeah, of course, when the defense is on the field all day. Now, look, let's see. Just so you know, that last couple drives where the Jets, you know, they had the ball a little while, it started to even out a little bit. But it's still lopsided. The Dolphins held the ball for 36 minutes and 21 seconds, and the Jets had 23 minutes and 39 seconds. Before those last couple Trevor Siemian drives, I mean, it was crazy lopsided. So it was bad, like 16-31 kind of a thing, like, you know, doubled. You know, so it's still almost doubled, but you know, so I don't know, guys. It's a bad deal. We're talking about the draft now, like we didn't want to do, right? We held out for one more week, and we'll watch the season. We got 3 more games. It's a crazy thing because it shifts, and now we have the potential to have a top 5, top 4, top 3 pick. 3 is going to be hard. The Cardinals, as I'm recording this, are playing the Niners right now. Even though it's a tight game, 21-13, I find it hard to believe. And you'll know by the time you watch this, by the time this airs, who won. I don't know while I'm recording it. But yeah, so you know, it's interesting because now we're going to shift gears to hoping we lose, which sucks. It sucks. Now I'm not rooting for the tank, but I'm really not. There's nothing to root for. There's nobody here. Zach Wilson, you don't want to see him do well because who gives a shit? Aaron Rodgers isn't coming back. Our offensive line is decimated. You'd like to see Izzy get reps, Ruckert get reps. I'd throw Converse and Trey Dean out there. Get Zaire Barnes in the mix. Like, start looking at your young bucks. Sherwood, you know. I'd give them all the playing time I can. Try to evaluate as many guys as I can. That's what I'd be doing. But with that, it's like, I mean, what does a win do at this point? You know, it's nice to end on a high note. But I'll tell you what's going to happen. You ready? This is the way it's going to go, everybody. I want you to know this. Just like we talked about last week, we chose to buy in. I said it. I don't regret it. I chose to buy in. We're going to go to the playoffs. We're going to win out. Miami's going to lose out. It's going to be great. I'm buying in because there was still a chance to buy in. We are losing. It's a losing season. It's done. And technically, I think there's still a mathematical path. It ain't happening. It's over. It's over. It'll be done by the end of the day. But here's what's going to happen. Now that we're rooting for tank stuff, they're going to break our hearts that way. Just want you to know that. In a weird way. Like, we're going to get to watch Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco threw for 374 this week, I think it was. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, kind of a thing. We didn't want him. And when we got somebody off the couch, we went and got Trevor Siemian over Joe Flacco. And, I mean, behind this line, Joe Flacco wouldn't do anything. He's not the type of quarterback for this line. We know that. He just can't. But we play them in 2 weeks, and I'm just going to tell you, Joe Flacco is going to look like a Super Bowl quarterback. Brace yourselves. Brace yourselves. He's going to throw for 3+. He's going to throw for 2 or 3 or 4 touchdowns. It's just brace yourself. And when we need the tank, we're going to beat the Patriots. This is the year that we beat the Patriots. Why? Because it'll take us out of the top 5 if we're floating around in there, and it'll put us to like 7 or 8. Because let me tell you something. right now, the Bears jumped us for pick 4. We had pick 4 earlier. The Bears are in 4. The Jets for 5. The Bears are in 5. The Jets are in 6. So we're at 6th right now. There are 5 teams that are 5-9. And Washington is 4-9 when I'm recording this. They may be another one that's 5-9. So that would be how many? Wait, 6 5-9 teams. Now the good news is we lost to some of them, like the Chargers. We beat the Giants, so there's that. But the Tennessee Titans, we didn't play them. But Atlanta we lost to. They're 6-8, so they're kind of hovering around there. But we play Washington still. So, we could help it that way. We play them this week. You'd like to see us that's a nice flip because we go down and they go up. That's good. That's a healthy, solid game. You know what I mean? Up. But it's just, I don't know. I'd love to see the Jets get a top 3 pick. The Cardinals aren't winning. They're not beating the Niners, and they're going to hover right around 3 wins, and they're going to do what they got to do. The Jets, we got to be there. It'd be nice if we got to pick 4, because then there's that, that potential of let's say the Giants want to jump up 2 spots. You can kind of, get their second and maybe next year's second, that kind of a thing, and a third. And then you can slide back 2 spots. They take a quarterback, and then the 2 tackles or Marvin Harrison are sitting there. That's nice. If you're at pick 4, you have options. You don't want to slide back past 6, though. You don't, in my opinion. Because you got only slide back if somebody's jumping up for a quarterback. If they're jumping up for a tackle, you can't do that. They're taking your guy off the board. You can't do that. But, you think if you're sitting at pick, let's say you're at 4. And the Giants, you got the Titans, right? And one of these guys wants to jump up for, who knows, the Titans think Will Levis is whatever. But they want to jump up and they want to get their quarterback. They love whoever. You can slide back 2 spots, 3 spots, and you can still get the tackle, and you can gain your second-round pick back and a second round next year, or maybe a second and a fourth this year and a second next, that kind of a thing, just for 2 spots. Then you do that. Or you just stay there. If you got Marvin Harrison, Joe Alt, and Fashanu on the board, then you just take your guy. Unless somebody's going to give you, and you're only going back 2 spots. Because if there's those 3 guys, you can go back 2 spots, and you're going to be good with any which one you get. You need a wide receiver, you need a tackle. You take the best player. So there we are. Here we are, man. Fucking talking draft. I can't stand it. And it's going to be painful. Because we're going to watch ourselves get to pick 8. Oh, guys, Jets fans, what will we do moving? I don't know. I don't have any answers. I will say this. I refuse to let them get me really down. You know what I mean? All right, let's have a good time. Let's flip it. Now we're talking about the other thing. One thing I'm going to say is this, guys. Just get ready for this. Zach is gone. I know that. I got a call yesterday that said, even before this game, doesn't matter how he plays out, he's gone. He's gone. I got more information for you guys, but I'll give you guys that later. I got some pretty nice info. Not, just interesting. Deep, good, juicy info. I'll give you that. But guys, with that all said, here we go, man. Let's have ourselves a good week. Looking at some prospects, rooting against other teams we hate, that kind of a thing. Here we are again. We know the deal. 13 years without the playoffs, 8 years without a winning record. This is our comfort zone. And now we're back. And let's see what we can do to wrap up the Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, Aaron Rodgers era and see if we can't piece it together and make it something positive. If not, we're out. Have a great week. And as always, go Jets.